Where is Alexa Bliss? Oh, where is the twisted bliss of the WWE? We're getting to all of that on today's Sports Key to Wrestling top story of the day. Plus, don't go anywhere. More updates on Cody and how he's changing everything in WWE. Excuse me, Cody Rhodes. We can call him that again. An update on that nasty story with NXT. Those titles have been vacated. Triple H telling us what is going on with talent in WWE and what they're getting paid. Nick Khan on the possibility of WWE being up for sale. That question is coming up again. A lot of updates. NXT, so much more. That's Jeremy Bennett. I'm Kev Kellum. This is your Freestyle Friday from Sports Kid Wrestling. Let's go. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. We got to get the order of the pictures down here. What's up, everybody? I'm Kev Kellum. That is Jeremy Brennan in Nebraska. If you ask you on a Friday, a Freestyle Friday. If you're watching, you haven't shared the link, you stink. You hear me? If you're with us for the first time, go ahead and get into the comments below, whether you're listening on the podcast side of things. Thank you so much for doing that, putting us on the charts, making us #1 earlier this week on the Apple Wrestling charts in Ireland. Aaron Go Bra, Aaron Go SK. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Let's get into the conversation. Get those questions ready for our final segment. If you're watching the whole episode, you get to see those questions answered in the last one. An update on Alexa Bliss. She had a big role in WWE during the pandemic. It was probably one of the most active non-in-ring characters. She wrestled a handful of matches, did a bunch of different character work on screen, and did a lot of different things in the Thunderdome. In terms of WWE experimenting with television, in the Thunderdome with no fans, Alexa Bliss seemed to benefit from it. But once fans came back, whether it was injuries or something else, or just a shuffle up of WWE and then kind of backpedaling a character that may or may not have been overexposed, fans asked, where is Alexa Bliss? She was not really a part of the active presentation of WWE on the road to WrestleMania. Didn't have an active role in the show. And people are asking where she is. She still has a really, really dedicated fan base online. But what's the update? Why has she been off television, Jeremy?
Well, according to PW Insider, the reason why Alexa Bliss has been off television is because, the wedding is coming up as soon as this weekend in a secret location in Palm Springs, California. So she has been off of TV to prepare for the wedding with her fiance, singer Ryan Cabrera.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Obviously fans bring up other weddings and different things in wrestling. This makes sense. I also think that she's a character that doesn't need to wrestle a whole lot. I know a lot of people ask when she's not wrestling that she's not a part of the presentation, but this is somebody who decided to say, hey, you don't have anything super big for me. This is when my wedding's going to happen. And you knew well in advance. So she definitely planned to not be a part of this year's WrestleMania if this is the case. Don't you think? Drink it. Chug it.
Yeah. Had a couple last night, so I need some Gatorade. Yeah, I mean, you gotta prepare for it. It's probably gonna be extravagant and lavish with 2 entertainment superstars. So probably a lot to plan and a lot to do. So doesn't surprise me that was the reason. A lot of people, of course, on the internet gotta come up with theories and wonder why she's not at WrestleMania and all that stuff. But
and then claim a theory as fact. Theories are just theories, guys. Theories are just theories. Shout out to James Scott, New York City in the house. If you're watching for the first time, tell us where you guys are watching from. Love seeing all the diehards who are with us every single day. Shout out to the Watch Out gang. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Now you can see it in this hand here. The latest on Cody Rhodes made big waves, debuting this past Saturday at WrestleMania. He was the most talked about wrestler behind Stone Cold Steve Austin this past weekend. And whether or not you like it, he made a big splash again on Monday Night Raw, one of the most watched Monday Night Raws in quite some time, and he was a central player in it. He cut a very interesting promo that definitely felt like it was out of the norm for what WWE's been doing recently, heavily reflected on the history of his family in professional wrestling, and an active pursuit of a world right out of the gates. Now we have some updates about what's going on with him in the immediate future with WWE. What do we got, Jeremy?
Well, we got a couple of different things with Cody Rhodes. First, the immediate future, which is 2 hours from now, SmackDown. He is not expected to be at SmackDown. I think mainly just to You know, there was a previous report that he was going to be working SmackDown. That is no longer the case. He's no longer scheduled to be in attendance. He is a Raw superstar. Obviously, there's still a brand split. Plus, you don't want to oversaturate Cody. So it makes sense that he doesn't have to be on every show. Yeah. Obviously, this is a SmackDown reset show after WrestleMania. There's going to be a lot of things happening. Hopefully, some surprises. Obviously, Lacey Evans is going to be there, so hopefully, some surprises. But this is again a SmackDown reset show. Cody's a Raw superstar, so he is not going to be in attendance there. For those that follow Cody's personal life, you do know he has a beautiful dog named Pharaoh. And Cody Rhodes has said that he hopes to bring Pharaoh to WWE TV at some point. Of course, he's a very beloved member of the Rhodes family, and he has been on AEW television before as well. So it's pretty cool to see possibly Pharaoh be in WWE. He said, "I
have some breaking news. I have some breaking news here, specifically about Cody." Like to reveal this. Yes, I can confirm from independent sources at this time that Cody's dog Pharaoh is indeed a good boy. Can confirm that. Good boy. It's a good boy.
Cody,
Jeremy, can you hear me? You're very still.
Oh, I can hear. Cody talking about Pharaoh on WWE TV goes, since you posed the question, he does have to show up in some capacity. I don't want some sort of strange wild angle, just his presence. He can be on the bump. I'd love to have him there. We have many years to be able to do it. We should go ahead and promise the audience that there will be some sort of Pharaoh interaction in this juncture. But he's a pretty lazy husky, though. And one more story for Cody Rhodes that between his time between AEW and WWE, there was a television pilot filmed for Cody Rhodes. And according to the Wrestling Observer, Cody Rhodes filmed what is called American Spirits, which will feature Rhodes traveling across the country to look for upscale wine and liquor. But no word on these shows when they may air. But looks like looking for some good fine alcohol, if you will, on the new show.
If you will.
Jose in the chat.
What do you think of Cody? Listen, I'm not so stupid. You're so stupid.
I wonder why is he calling you stupid?
I don't know. Shout out to Andrew Basinger in Beloit, Wisconsin. Love you up at Mustangs. I've played Mustangs doing stand-up comedy up there. I'm in Springfield, Illinois tonight for the QLZ Comedy Invasion at the Hoagland Center. I was on 3 radio stations taped. Not that type of it's Hoagland, not Hogan.
Hoagland,
different. So that's going on tonight. Very, very busy here. I've done 3 radio shows. No, I taped 2 full radio shows, appeared on 3 radio shows live, taped 2 videos and a podcast, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing a comedy show tonight. So
yeah,
I also got to see some really cool wrestling magazines at a used record store. I'm going to post some pictures of that. You ever seen some old school wrestling magazines?
Like you could buy them or just to
like old ones. I'm talking like 1993 WWF magazines. The Wrestler are ones that were edited and written by our buddy Bill Apter, who's now on Sportskeeda. So it was wild to pull it. Like, is Lex Luger pursuing the NWA world title? like on the big cover. It was pretty crazy here. Let's get into this next story. This one's pretty interesting. Triple H kind of revealing some money information. People always want to know what's going on with WWE and money. And Triple H kind of revealing the minimum salary point for a Raw or SmackDown superstar, what they make. What's the detail on that? Give me the money.
Yeah, the tryouts, there were profiled tryouts for the NIL, profiled by The Athletic, and they also talked about just what wrestlers make on the main roster. The Athletic interviewed Triple H, and he says that the minimum salary for a Raw or SmackDown superstar is $250,000, $250,000 annually.
Woo!
Obviously, the top stars on the roster can earn over $1 million. I think Roman is around 4 to 5. I think 3, maybe 3. I can't remember. I think Strowman was making 3 when he got cut. I think Roman is about the 5 range. So it is good if you can get to the pinnacle of sports entertainment. It is good to be you get a little cash in your pocket, so to speak.
But you see that disparity by someone who's like, at the top of the card and somebody who's near the bottom.
Yeah.
That's a minimum number. Mind you, there's inflation and other things that come into play with this. Cost of living, what it costs to be on the road.
Yeah.
Another thing to factor in is what WWE talent pays to be on the road. There are certain expenses that are covered by WWE for them. Specifically, a lot of airfare is covered. But rental cars, hotels to some degree, depending on where and when they are. There's a lot of things that come into that. So if you're a baseline guy, after taxes, what are you clearing? And so there's a lot to be said for that. But also it's something to be said for WWE pays talent. Some people say they don't pay talent. They do. They do pay talent quite handsomely. And you had some talent that didn't want to stay for that money either, too. And that, like, what was Cesaro making when he could have left? All right, so guy like that, he's not making the minimum. He's going to be making a little bit more than that. So this guy's leaving for between,
especially a guy that's been there for so long. A guy that's been there for so long too.
So there's bonus structures for him. There's also merchandise money. That's a guy who headlined some pay-per-views this year, so there's some extra money. There's plenty of extra money there too. So that's a guy who's like left WWE for around $500,000 to $1 million, apparently. If he's just getting offered what he had before.
People also want to be able to do what they want to do creatively and professionally, and sometimes they are not offered that in WWE. So then that's when they want to move off into the indies, move over to AEW, move over to Impact. That's where guys like Brian Myers, he's doing a tremendous job as a solo star in Impact Wrestling. You never got to see that in WWE. Steve Cutler's another good example. I think Steve Cutler is doing some good work in Impact Wrestling. You only got to see him in a tag team. You saw him in the Forgotten Sons, and then they got forgotten because Jackson Riker decided to post some idiotic things on social media. So FTR is a good example. They never got to do what they wanted to do. Good Brothers are another good example too. Both FTR and Good Brothers were in joke skits, and that's probably the last thing they want to. I mean, obviously, the Good Brothers will have their fun on their own shows, but when it comes to the professional wrestling side of things, they wanted to be able to do what they want to do, and now look what FTR's done. They put together two of the top matches of the year within a week apart, with Super Card of Honor against the Briscoes and against the Bucks on Dynamite this week.
And also it's something we said for, you're getting paid a lot of money even if you're doing small roles in WWE. You're getting paid a significant amount of money even if you're not featured prominently. So an Akira Tozawa, for example, is making $250,000 a year doing his part in WWE. If this all lines up,
making out with Tamina and chasing Reggie.
Not a bad deal, dude. That's not a bad deal if you enjoy having that role. There's some people that really like having that role, and there's nothing wrong with that either, too.
And Nick, we talked about this at the open of the show. Bliss has been away from television because she is getting married this weekend. So let's move on to our
leading up to WWE talent. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, let's move on to our fourth story. Unless you have more on this one, Kev.
Kev? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a delay here that we've been dealing with. So go ahead.
All right. We have another story here. It is WWE President Nick Khan, as you see him right there. Look at that guy. It looks like a mob boss. Nick Khan discussing third-party deals coming back to the WWE. He had talked, of course, this has been a big point of contention with a lot of superstars being able to stream on Twitch, do cameos. Like, I know Big E was big in the cameo game before WWE stepped in and kind of went away with it. But now Tony Khan has said, hey, let's kind of open more opportunities for revenue for these superstars.
Tony Khan?
Or Nick Khan, sorry. Khan!
I had to catch you on that.
So yeah, ability for superstars to make additional money and profit from third-party platforms. It's good to see that they're allowed to do this again. Cameo, autograph signings, programming, scripted and unscripted. It's good to see WWE and Nick Khan open up that door for. Come on, what is the big deal? Allowing a wrestler to make more money, and secure their financial stability. I mean, what's wrong with that, guys?
I've explained this before, and I'm explaining this to someone who works for my other gig is working for a company where I'm on with their brand. And there is contracts I've signed in the past that label out certain language like this. And there's certain things I had to sign to make sure that, I can protect myself with going and making money on comedy shows. For example, tonight, the show I'm going to do is presented by the radio station, and there's a deal there already, right? But when I worked at other radio stations, I had to ask for permission to be able to go do like a podcast and stuff like that. And I had to get things like, all right, you're allowed to do that. You've gotten clearance to do that. I know it sounds silly, but when you work for a radio station, why would we be paying you to be on the radio if you can go do a podcast or something like that? So the idea is proprietary presentation of a performer. Are you using your name that WWE has given you or you perform under? Are you going to use that name and make money on that name? WWE owns that name. So it'd be like if Tobey Maguire was making appearances as Spider-Man. That's the way WWE sees these things. And that's why WWE's licensees and advertisers sometimes see those things. But in many cases, that isn't exactly the practical sense.
Mm-hmm.
If there's things that you do on a cameo that conflict, you doing an endorsement deal with Cricket Wireless, you see WWE doing stuff with, and you're on there talking about a different phone service, that isn't particularly good. So I think that's kind of the tenuous nature of these type of things, and there'll be regulations to it. Yeah, you can go and do it, but here's what would be bad for this company that you have a relationship with financially. So I think that's okay. If there's a compromise that can be made where everyone's happy and the guys and the gals get to go make money on the side and benefit independently of WWE off their WWE status, I don't have an issue with it. And if you're a WWE sponsor, I don't think you should have an issue with it if it doesn't, conflict with what you're spending your money on.
Yeah. Yeah. We got one more story for you before we get into Freestyle Friday, baby.
We got some good questions already. I already saw some really good ones.
Get some more in the chat. Fill up that chat with Freestyle Friday questions. We will get to them all. But first, we got one final story for you, and it has been announced officially by the WWE after the release of Nash Carter that the NXT Tag Team Championships have been vacated. New champions will be crowned on this Tuesday, April 12th edition of NXT 2.0. Of course, Nash Carter and Wes Lee won the Tag Team Championships at NXT Stand and Deliver. Story was that at the time, WWE did not see these allegations as credible. So they went ahead, put the tag team titles back on MSK for the second time in their career. Then all the stuff from Kimberly came out later on, and WWE had nothing else to do but then to let him go. So
it's such a hard situation for WWE to get when it becomes he said, she said type stuff like this, and then it gets online and it's a whole other thing. I'm not defending WWE in the slightest because I think they get put in a very awkward position. Like, what do they do? And I feel for Kimber in this situation. And if Nash is not guilty of this, I feel for him as well, because this will be something, even if he's proven to be free of the accusation that he's under right now, this will be something that kind of it taints his career. It taints his development as a star.
Even if he's free of those, there still were some things that were posted that were not good, and and there's no refuting what he did, with the Hitler things and things like that. So
and don't get it twisted. Kimber went for the guy's career, you know, and that was her sense of justice in this regard. And people can debate whether or not that's the right way to deal with things. I'm not going to get into that because it's just too messy, and I think it gets away from the issue here. It puts WWE in a tough position, also Wes Lee really suffers from this too,
he does.
So,
and like I said, he's got the charisma and the skill. He could go off on his own. You got another young guy there in Draco Anthony. I think those two could tag together and do really well. I don't know. I just hope that they don't hide Wes Lee and keep him out there and do something for him at least, because this has got to be probably the toughest time of his professional career. So hopefully they can do something. No details yet. no details yet of the teams and what's going to be involved and everything. But I agree with Kris. I think now is the time to put it on the Creed brothers. They have been impressive. We'll see what happens. But
they had a great run in the Dusty Cup. They had a really
Yeah.
good run in it. Even they win. Victor Nash, thank you for that super chat. We appreciate it. Even though there wasn't a question in there. Want to guarantee that your questions get on screen. Drop those super chats with us if you're streaming us on YouTube. We do appreciate it. But hey, we still go with all the questions here.
Hey,
is it time?
What time is it? What time is it? What time is it?
I believe it is. Hang on. It's not Veda time. It's like, let me try and do a Friday thing. It's Freestyle Friday time. I was trying to do a hand signal thing. It isn't working. I'm in Springfield, Illinois, at the beautiful Wyndham Hotel, Wyndham Rotunda Hotel. Let's jump right into questions here. I have one I want to get into. Where is Brock Lesnar going? He's going back to his farm. That's where he's going.
He's going to take some time off, probably relax, recharge, and come back and kick some more ass somewhere down the line.
I agree. We'll see him again before the end of the year. Bubba Williams with a question here. Do you think Cody will be the one to dethrone Reigns? Cody's already set his sights on a world championship, though he didn't bring up Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw. What do you think, Jeremy?
I think in order for him to do that, he'll have to be on Win Money in the Bank because he's a Raw superstar now. So Roman Reigns is a SmackDown superstar, so that's the only really path that we're going to have at this point.
Give me Ascension. I'm a fan of a chase. Shaq Attack says, why was Cody pulled from SmackDown?
I kind of explained.
Was he officially advertised for it?
I don't know. I think it was maybe expected or rumored, but at the same time, I explained it earlier in the show. He's a Raw superstar. This is a SmackDown reset show after WrestleMania. No real reason to have him on there unless it was for like a dark match to kind of have the crowd be happy. But that's about the only reason that I could see as to why he was even there in the first place.
Want to get this, Molly? I heard MJF is frustrated with AEW since Cody left. Is this true? We don't know if that's true. I think fans are kind of parlaying that story into Cody leaving. So obviously MJF was very much a Cody acquisition for AEW. That's the word we've heard from quite a few people. And obviously they had a lot of time on television together, did a long angle that a lot of people loved, probably the best stuff that Cody got to do in AEW before returning to WWE. And then this kind of plays into a recent story that MJF had that has been confirmed by him and other people in AEW, that he had a bit of a disagreement with Tony Khan about a recent interview he did with Ariel Helwani on MMA Hour. In that interview, MJF was very transparent about his contract status in character, but still very transparent about his status and when he would become a free agent. And this plays into his character and him getting heat. But the issue with this is apparently this interview was not cleared beforehand with AEW and their media department. And that may have caused some type of rift. Now, whether or not that rift has been calmed down, I don't know. But we're still seeing MJF on television. I don't know if he's been reprimanded at all.
Well, they've already said they smooth things over. So
yeah. So I mean, but we don't know if there was any upsetness about that. I want to get this one here from Victor Nash. He was very supportive with that super chat for $5. Thank you so much.
I'm in order, so I'm going in order, so I don't miss any.
You're gonna go in order. We'll get Victor. We'll get you up there. What's the next one here? I can't pull them up, just so you guys are knowing here.
Oh wait, hold on, one more. I missed one. Here we go.
Molly once again here. Thank you so much. Love the lady energy in the chat. Do you think Marina Shafir will take Jade's title? Will Ember Moon take it? Who is going for the TBS championship in AEW? It's a wide open scape. The thing is, there's so many people that are viable that they've thrown back down the card that could win this title. And I think they got to build some people back up to get back at Jade. Jade, they've really made her look like a monster. She looks like $1 million. She's becoming better every time you see her in the ring. This is a case where I think the title and the person are making themselves, not the other way around.
Yeah, I don't think Marina's going to take it from her. She's just not even been presented hardly at all in AEW programming yet. So I don't think she's going to be the one to take the title off of her. I think maybe Athena, but at this point, I think maybe Toni Storm might be the one that could take it off of her, possibly.
Shout out to Andrew Cormo saying, watch out, watch out, watch out. If you're with us, go ahead and get your questions in here. Derrick Woogleman Edmonds. I love that name. Woogleman. What do you think about AEW and New Japan working together? This isn't a story we got to cover today, but a little bit more details about this. All Elite Wrestling, Dynamite, and Rampage will now stream with Japanese commentary on New Japan World, and that they will be presented live, which is very, very rare. This will be AEW's first official break into the Japanese wrestling market, though they've done plenty of different collaborations back and forth featuring Japanese talent. New Japan talent's been featured on television. Jericho and Moxley, Lance Archer have also competed in New Japan since joining AEW, but this is the first real time they've done a media deal of some kind. This will put them into a position that I think is very good to get them kind of more connected with NJPW.
Breaking news from WrestleVotes. There's a name change for a debuting superstar tonight on SmackDown that is probably the worst one yet. Like pick from a hat and blindfolded. That's how they got here type of stuff.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
There is a name change for a debuting superstar tonight on SmackDown that is probably the worst one yet. So this got to be worse than Dewdrop. Like they picked it out of a hat, was blindfolded. That's how.
I don't think Dewdrop is the worst one. What's the worst one for you?
I don't know. I thought LA Knight was kind of dumb at first. But we'll see what happens.
But he's made it work.
Yeah, he has. But it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting.
You want to know when I know the names work? When they change the names and I know they work? When I can't remember the guy's name before he changed his name.
Well, I know
when I know it's just settled in. Yeah, but I mean, like, it took me a while to remember. Yeah, but I know. But I mean, now I say Dewdrop. Now I say LA Knight, when it settles in. Yeah. But no, finishing up that AEW New Japan story, that's a big deal for them. It's quietly a big deal for them. It puts them on a streaming service that a lot of fans internationally subscribe to. Not a lot, but I mean enough where they're spending money regularly. Those are money-spending fans. Those are diehard fans. Those are people that buy pay-per-views. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see how much more New Japan and AEW work together. New Japan's doing some big shows in the United States on their own. April 16th, the Windy City Riot, Jon Moxley versus Will Ospreay. That will be on FIGHT.tv. So they're doing some big shows on their own, and it's just another idea of AEW trying to deeply ingrain themselves into the hardcore wrestling fandom.
Yep. Tony on the chat here. Where is Cesaro, and when is someone going to give him a long overdue title? No word on where Cesaro is. I feel Ring of Honor for Claudio. Claudio never won the world title in Ring of Honor. I think that would be a great place for him to go, win the world title eventually, and then transition to AEW. I think
he's active on Twitch. He's launched his own Twitch. He's active on a Twitch channel. He's doing stuff. He's not
him and Adam Cole and Tyler Breeze and Xavier Woods did stuff all the time together. So there's 3/4 of them are free now to be able to do stuff like that. David in the chat, what is y'all's favorite dream match you wish you could have seen? Obviously, I think the number one on especially in their prime, Sting and Undertaker.
I absolutely agree. Sting and the Undertaker. The Undertaker is one of my favorite wrestlers. Getting to see him go in the Hall of Fame is one of my favorite things I've ever seen as a wrestling fan. Yeah. I saw Undertaker versus Undertaker. I know the match wasn't a good match in retrospect, but as a little kid, it was very impressionable. I loved wrestling, and then I knew when I left that show that I'd love wrestling forever. One of my favorite matches I've ever seen live was The Undertaker versus Triple H, and Sting was always that guy, that people wanted to see him because they were so similar, especially when they did the Crow presentation. We never got to see Stone Cold versus CM Punk. That was a match I've always wanted, but we didn't get it. That would have been interesting. Yeah, Victor Nash with another very supportive super chat. Thank you so much, Victor. Yeah. How do you guys think NXT will crown new tag team champions? Who do you think will be the next champs? This will be done on this coming episode of Tuesday of NXT on USA Network, which does make the show compelling. You're getting a new title champion, so I'll give them that. Just circumstantially, there's some benefits you can have to this.
It was supposed to be MSK against Grayson Waller and Sanga. I would not be surprised if it's like a fatal 4-way. You add the Brooks and the Country Boys. I can't remember, Jensen and Brooks or something like that. I can't remember who they are. But I think
Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah. Little city limit sound.
What was that? what were you singing there?
I was mumbling Boot Scoot and Boogie.
Boots, super kick and boot and scooting boogie.
I think you got to put it on the Creeds.
No, I think so too. Creed
Yeah,
brothers.
got it.
O'Doyle rules. That's what every time I see the Creed brothers, I just think of the O'Doyle family from Billy Madison.
Doyle rules.
O'Doyle rules.
Yeah, Yuri in the chat. When will the new title be introduced? I don't know. Good question. They definitely didn't do it Raw after Mania, but you got to think it's going to be.
Do we have to have a new title?
The networks are going to want it.
They want one singular belt for both shows.
Yeah, the networks. Yeah, the networks will want it.
And the networks determine these things. Nick Fun with a question here. How did Cody Rhodes get his entry theme from AEW in WWE? You're referencing the song Downstate. That song's Kingdom. Reportedly, Cody owns rights to that song, or at least has a deal with the band to get that song. If that isn't the case when WWE had to make a separate deal to get it, kudos to WWE.
Cody might have had the rights himself because he's been using that since Ring of Honor. So Cody might
using that. Yeah,
Cody might have done that here. I'm looking through for any more questions here. I do not see any. So we're at 30 minutes. Let's call it a weekend, boys.
Yeah. So here I got one. What do you think of Bianca Belair from last year to now? Incredible. Bianca Belair is one of the best protected WWE superstars in all of WWE, and they've made a big deal out of her, and you should enjoy it. And when it's good, it's good. Bianca and Becky had a great match, one of the best matches this past weekend. It was absolutely phenomenal. Want to thank everyone for their support. Want to thank everyone for the support of the channel, getting us up so much higher on the podcast side of things. I am so appreciative of it. Give me a follow on the Twitter machine at Kev Kellum. Give Jeremy Bennett a follow on the Twitter machine at JB Huskers. Come on,
I'll be live.
Follow good old JB. Good old.
I'll be live. I'll be live.
Jeremy, I know you're busy hustling on. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I will be live tweeting SmackDown tonight. Maybe we'll get some fun, some surprises. I got an announcement coming soon, so stay tuned. Maybe something I can announce on Monday's show. I got a little something new coming, so stay tuned for that. So follow me at JB Huskers.
Cool. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a great wrestling weekend. Enjoy SmackDown. Maybe you're catching up on WrestleMania. I don't know. But just breathe. Take it all in. And remember, when watching wrestling, do what?
Enjoy wrestling and watch me debut tonight. Yeah!
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!